Wrap your hands across my engines. Together we could break this trap. We'll run till we drop. Baby, we'll never go back. Oh, you walk with me out on the wire. 'Cause baby, I'm just a scared and lonely rider. But I gotta know how it feels. I wanna know if love is wild, baby. I wanna know if love is real. Oh, can you show me? Beyond the palace, semi-powered drones scream down the boulevard. Girls comb their hair in rearview mirrors, and the boys try to look so hard. The amusement park rides are full and start. Kids are huddled on the beach in the mirrors. I wanna die with you, Wendy, on the street tonight, and an everlasting kiss. Huh. Highways jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive. Well, everybody's out on the road tonight, but there's no place left to hide. Together, Wendy, we can live with the sadness. I'll love you with all the madness in my soul. Oh, someday, girl, I don't know when we're gonna get to that place where we really wanna go, and we'll walk in the sun. But till then, chance like us, baby, we were born to run. Honey, chance like us, baby, we were born to run. Come on, Wendy, chance like us, baby, we were born to run.
All right, welcome back, Lancer Library listener. I guess there's more than one because we got a whole bunch of emails. I think it was, when was that, Connor? Was that Friday morning? We got a whole bunch of emails.
Yeah, that was Friday.
Yeah, we got Mary Childs and Nancy Griffin and Deb Pizzello. There's a whole bunch of people that were really nice and sent us out some great emails. We really appreciate it. That was a wonderful song. That was your choice, wasn't it, Connor?
That was Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band's Born to Run.
What year did that come out?
That was 1975.
And this is not the 1975 show, but it is the 1975 show, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is not about the band 1975. They are still a solid band. This is a dedication to the year 1975 with hits from that time.
Terrific. So you'll hear mostly stuff from 1975. We have a couple of guests that brought their own musical choices along, and we always try to encourage that. Who do we have for guests today, Mr. Elsing?
We have Miss Woznicki, who is a business teacher at Waterford High School, and Anna Schleck, a member of the Lancelot staff and a senior.
Awesome. And I don't have a particular shout out today, but I want to let everybody know in the day, there is an excellent article about Fadi Hage Jr., tennis champion at Waterford High School, excellent tennis player. I would highly suggest checking that out. Lancers are in the news. All right. But what we got up next is the Isley Brothers. And this is another choice of yours, Connor?
Yep, this is the song Living for the Love of You.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Drifting on a memory. Ain't no place I'd rather be than with you. Yeah, loving you. Well. Day will make a way for night. All we'll need is candlelight and a song. Yeah, soft and long. Well, ooh, glad to be here alone with a lover unlike no other. Sad to see a new horizon slowly coming into view. Yeah, I wanna be living for the love of you. Oh, yes, I am. All that I'm giving is for the love of you. All right now. Ooh, lovely as a ray of sun that touches me when the morning comes, feels good to me. Yeah, my love and me. Well, smoother than a gentle breeze, flowing through my mind with ease, soft as can be. Well, when you're loving me, when you're loving me, love to be riding the waves of your love, enchanted with your touch. And it seems to me we could sail together in and out of mystery. Well, I wanna be living for the love of you. All right now, all that I'm giving is for the love of you. You got me, girl. I wanna be living for the love of you. All right now, all that I'm giving is for the love of you. Oh, yes, I am. Paradise I have within. Can't feel insecure again. You're the key. Well, and this I see. Oh, I see. Now and then I lose my way, using words to try to say what I feel. Yeah, love is real. Oh, love is real. Ooh, I might as well sign my name on a card which could say it better. Time will tell, 'cause it seems that I've done just about all that I can do. I know that I'm living for the love of you. Oh, yes, I am. I know that I'm living for the love of you. Every day I'm said I'm living for the love each and every day. Oh, Lord knows I have. Write that down. Said that I'm living for the love of you.
Awesome. That was the Isley Brothers with Living for the Love of You, a great classic 70s soul song. Continuing our theme of the year 1975, but first we have our first guest, the great Miss Woznicki. What's happening, Miss Woz?
Why, hello, how are you?
I'm doing all right, doing all right. How has online teaching been?
Oh, it's been a struggle, I won't lie. I
How
miss you
so?
guys.
Yeah, man, Miss Woz, I miss you too for sure. It's been weird, you know. How is it, you know, how is it compared, for instance, like Google Classroom, for instance, and how much different is it than, you know, normal teaching, as you can say?
Well, let's see. I think not being able to work with you guys and, really see you guys, even though you can somewhat see you, it really takes away the personalization of teaching a class. And I think that's probably my favorite part of teaching is being able to see the aha moments and when it clicks and all of that stuff. And it's really sad that this is what it's come to. I'm glad that we do get to continue and it's not going to be a waste of a year totally, but it makes my heart sad for the seniors. It makes my heart sad for my own children who now have to see me as their teacher and then also as their mom, and it's hard to switch that hat over constantly because let's be honest, they don't act the same way for me as they do for their teacher. It's a struggle. So
Yeah, for
but
sure.
we're all in the same boat, so as long as we keep rowing in the right direction, I think we're doing okay.
Absolutely. Now, I know you have two younger kids. What's that like right now, being home with them all the time and having to try to, you know, keep them on a schedule?
Wow, you know, let me tell you, it can be dicey some days around here. So, we have good days, we have bad days, and trying to teach a kindergartner who doesn't want to sit still and listen to me, not when I'm teaching him, never mind while I'm trying to teach him whatever the topic is, a how-to book or whatever. It's just a lot, and it's a lot for them. It's a big change. They don't understand change like we get it. So telling them they can't be with their friends, and it was so abrupt, right? There was no warning. Just one day, you're not going to school anymore. And then now you're going to learn on a computer. So I will say the amount of technology these kids are learning is insane. I mean, they're going to be able to run the world one day with all this technology that they're getting integrated into them at the age of 5 and 6 years old. But it's very different. When it's nice out, I try to let them be outside as much as possible because I know the next day is going to be rainy and we're going to be stuck inside. And those are the tough days.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm glad you're keeping it positive, for instance. But you run a few clubs at Waterford High School. One of them being the FBLA. How has that been affected with this coronavirus?
Well, so right now, I mean, we don't have an FBLA per se, right? Because there's no real fundraisers you can do
Of course.
virtually. And I mean, to be honest with you, some of our big fundraisers that were coming up, we had to cancel, or we just got our slushy machine, which was a huge cost to us, right? So some of the things that, and though we had been making money off of that to build our kitty back up so we could do the things that we normally do and scholarships and other things like that, unfortunately, it came to a screeching halt on March 13th. And it just, we're going to have to be like everybody else and rebuild and rebrand and do it all when we get back, hopefully in September, and go from there. So I think we just all have to be realistic that this isn't normal right now, and it will get back to somewhat normal one day, and just take it day by day. And it is what it is, and I just feel bad for all the kids who did put in so much hard work over the past 6-9 months, couple years, whatever it is. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel somewhere, so it will get there.
Yeah, it will. Of course, it will. Another club or organization that you help run is the class of 2020's like student council. I know as a senior, for instance, you know, everything's been shifted. And, you know, one thing you help run is events, and, you know, prom, for instance, is, you know, has been moved to potentially a different day. You know, what's it like trying to reorganize pretty much the end of the senior year?
So it's been quite a challenge, and Miss Tessie and I talk probably about 2 or 3 times a week, trying to make sure that we are keeping present on everything that's going on and trying to make the best informed decisions along with Mr. Hauser and your class council. They've been excellent too, you know, keeping them in the loop. And we've had a couple Zoom meetings and trying to get through how to make things the most effective with the least amount of change, if that makes sense. I know there's been a lot of change, right? But for instance, senior prom, it was scheduled for May 30th. Well, as of right now, we may go back on May 20th, but trying to plan a prom for 200 kids in 10 days is not quite feasible. So we moved it to July 12th, and that is the day it is at the moment. But once again, depending on what they say, when large crowds can start coming together, that day may have to move again. So at that point, we will have to have another meeting and decide. But I will tell you, you guys have not been forgotten about. The seniors are of the utmost important, and we will make sure you guys get celebrated or have some kind of dance/prom in some sort of way in the next, you know, 6 months or so, or whenever they tell us we're allowed to. So it is on the radar. There's just every day it changes, and every day we're just trying to roll with the punches.
Cool. Again, I appreciate all that you've done for our grade. And another thing as well is, you know, what is it at Waterford Beach? Like the senior kind of like senior day, I guess you can say. Is that, I assume that's also on hold?
That's definitely on hold for right now. One of the things or ideas we have been talking about, so because of, obviously we don't know when we're coming back to school, but I think we'd rather concentrate our efforts for making your prom tickets as cheap as possible, as opposed to having a senior picnic or whatever you want to call it, especially if it's after once school gets out, you know? So with all of the hardships that are going on and things like that, instead of having your prom ticket be $60, $70, trying to make it as cheap as possible. So this way you guys don't have to worry about that financial burden. So a lot of the money you guys raise will be going towards your senior prom and making sure that those aren't sticking points for somebody who's been put in some kind of financial situation.
Cool. Now, one thing we ask all of our guests is, you know, what are 2 things you're grateful for, and what's one thing that you miss about, you know, the normal world, I guess you can say?
I know, it's crazy. Like, I was thinking about one thing I miss. There's so many things I miss, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just miss normalcy. You know, I miss just being able to walk out the door, not have to worry about who I'm with, where I'm going, and just being able to do whatever I want to do. You know, there's none of that. Everything is calculated, everything's planned. You know, is it a high time at the grocery store? Do I have a mask? Am I within 6 feet of each other? Can I, you know, try to leave the children at home? Like, everything is calculated and planned at this moment in time. So I can't wait till we can just kind of get back a little bit of get up and go. 2 things I'm grateful for. Even though they drive me crazy, I'm grateful for my kids because they definitely keep me going. You know, if I didn't have them, I think maybe some days I may not get out of this bed, right? You know, but they definitely keep me on my toes, and the good days are great. So I just have to make sure I remember those. And another thing I'm grateful for is all the people who are out there working really, really hard to try and help and solve and figure this out, because without them, who knows how long this could take. So every day I really think about that. We have one of those, you know, yard signs that says, you know, thankful to the nurses and all the other staff. And I just think it's so important that we realize how much they give up every single day to make sure that we're all healthy and safe.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being so helpful for the class of 2020. And thank you for swinging on by. We're going to take a quick break from the year 1975. Miss Woz, thank you again so much for coming on. Now,
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. And your song is, Miss Woz, that you brought with us today?
I think I did Semi-Time Kind of Life by Third Eye Blind, right? Is that the one I
Yep,
chose eventually?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you. So you guys, good luck, and we do love the radio show and Thomas Carteret. It's really because of hearing out all the interviews, not the music.
All right, we'll do.
All right, guys. Good luck.
she lives for me. Says she lives for motivation. Oh, motivation. She goes round and she goes down on me. And I'll make you smile like a drug for you. Do ever what you wanna do, coming over you. Keep on smiling what we go through. One stop to the rhythm that defines you. And I speak to you like the chorus to the verse. Drop another line like the coda with the curse. Coming like a freak show takes the stage. We give them the game she plays. She say, I want something else to get me through this semi-charm kind of life. Baby, baby, I want something else. I'm not listening when you say goodbye. The sky was gold, it was rose. I was taking sips of it to my nose, and I wish I could get back there, someplace back there, smiling in the pictures you would take. To a crystal method, lift you up until you break. It won't stop. I won't come down and keep stop with the tick-tock rhythm. I bumped for the drop and then I bumped up. I took the hit that I was given and I bumped again. Then I bumped again. Said, how do I get back there to the place where I fell asleep inside you? How do I get myself back to the place where you said I want something else to get me through this semi-time kind of life. Baby, baby, I want something else. I'm not listening when you say goodbye. I believe in the sand beneath my toes. The beach gives a feeling, energy feeling. I believe in the faith that grows, and the fluoride goes can make me cry. When I'm with you, I feel like I could die, and that would be alright, alright. And when the plane came in, she said she was crossing the velvet ribbons in the city, we tripped on the earth to feel alive. And now I'm struggling to survive those days you were wearing that velvet dress. You're the priestess, I must confess. Those little red panties, they passed the test. So I tuck around the belly, face down on the mattress one. And you hold me, and we are broken. Still excited, I wanna feel just a little. I feel myself heavy off the ground. I'm scared, I'm not coming down. No, no, and I won't run from my life. She's got the toss out, locked down in a smile, but nothing is alright, alright. I want something else to get me through this life, baby. I want something else. Not listening when you say
All right, that was Third Eyed Blind by Semi-Charged Life. No, that's Shemi. No, I don't know what it is. It was a song requested by Miss Woznicki, and I thought that was a great interview. That, you know, there's not a lot of definites that we have in this current situation. If there's one definite, it's that it's going to rain 5 days out of 6, and other than that, but you know, it sounds like her and Miss Tessier are trying hard to honor their jobs as class advisors, working with the student council to get something so that when there is a definite, they're ready for it. So I thought that was really positive. It is April is still National Poetry Month. I don't know if I am the only person that looks forward to this part of the show. I may well be. But if I do, then this is probably one of my favorite parts of this part of the show. This is Robert Hayden, and he's reading Those Winter Sundays, a poem of his. As usual, the poem will be in the comments section. Anyway, it goes out to all those parents. It's really about his dad, but I guess it's about all those parents that do those things that when we're kids, we just don't realize that all those things are going on. So here's Robert Hayden reading his poem, Those Winter Sundays.
Here is a poem that comes directly out of my boyhood in Detroit, and it's called Those Winter Sundays. Sundays, too, my father got up early and put his clothes on in the blue-black cold. Then, with cracked hands that ached from labor in the weekday weather, made bank fires blaze. No one ever thanked him. I'd wake and hear the coals splintering breaking. When the rooms were warm, he'd call, and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house, speaking indifferently to him who had driven out the coal, and polish my good shoes as well. What did I know? What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices?
All right, that was Robert Hayden. And Connor and I were both talking about the fact that 1975, our year of choice for this show, saw in January, in fact, Bob Dylan released Blood on the Tracks, which Rolling Stone said was the best album of the 70s, I believe, at one point. I don't know if they'd still hold to that, but it's pretty good. This is the song from that, You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go, recorded in 1976 in the Rolling Thunder Review.
I've seen love go by my door, but it's never been this close before. Never been so easy or so slow. I've been shooting in the dark too long. When something's not right, it must be wrong. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. Dragging clouds so high above, I've only known about careless love. It's always a hit me from below. This time round it's more correct. Right on talking, it's so direct. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. Purple clover, queen and lace, crimson hair across your face. You could make me cry if you don't know. Can't remember what I was thinking of. You might be falling me too much love. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. They're driven and driving me crazy. Crickets talking back and forth in rhyme. Blue River running slow and lazy. I could stay with you forever and never realize the time. Situations have ended sad. Relationships have all been bad. I've been like the lanes and ramble. There's no way that I can't compare all them scenes to this affair. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. Make me wonder what I'm doing, staying far behind without you. You're gonna make me wonder what I'm saying. You're gonna make me get myself in a good talking to. believe me now, I know. But I'll see you in the sky above in the tall grass and the ones I love. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go.
All right, that was Bob Dylan live in 1976 from an album that came out in 1975. This is our 1975 show. Connor and I like to challenge each other once in a while. As far as I can figure out, Wednesday's show is going to be 1985, and then Connor was a little bit worried about me. Friday's show is going to be 1995. From what I understand, music did continue after the Clash broke up, but I'm not convinced. I'll find out about that when I start doing my research. But here in the studio today, we have somebody that's done their own bit of research. Anna Schleck, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear your voice. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm trying to stay busy and not bored.
How are
Try
you
not to
doing
go
with that?
crazy.
How are you doing with staying busy and not bored? What are you doing to keep yourself busy?
I try to do like a lot of my schoolwork ahead of time. I play with my dogs a lot. I've picked up learning German online. Just trying to do something so my brain isn't like, okay, we've been sitting here for 3 hours doing nothing.
All right, just so that our listening audience knows, Anna Schleck is a senior at the high school, and she is also a writer for the Lancelot, the school newspaper. And you've written a couple of articles that sound really interesting. So first of all, Lancer Library Radio has a big deficit because I know nothing about sports except billiards. I'd be more than happy to talk about billiards, but most people aren't that interested. Anna, you just wrote an article on sports at the high school, didn't you?
Yeah, so our latest edition was covering the COVID-19 pandemic, and the whole year I've been covering sports and trying to highlight athletes in the different sports at our school. And this one was a little bit more challenging because obviously no sports are going on right now, but I still wanted to honor kind of the tradition of talking to people in the different seasons. So this one was the spring sports season. So I talked to Madison Knott, who's a senior. She plays softball.
Yeah, she was just on our show last time. She was on our show on Friday.
Yeah, so I talked to her about like just her general life in softball even before high school, but then also we dug into what it's like to be ready for the season and not be able to play it right now, especially as a senior.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, they have that whole field that's brand new, and their goal was to be the first ones to play on it. So I mean, they're still holding out hope for June, but it was interesting to talk to her about how much you miss it when you're not there.
And who else? Any other athletes that you spoke to?
Yeah, so in the fall sports season, I did Lily Watson, who's a swimmer. I did Ryan Bakken, who plays football, and he plays other stuff too. But
He's probably best known as the quarterback for the team, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the winter, I did Maryland Childs on the girls basketball team. I did.
And they're all great athletes. They're great stuff.
Yeah, and I did Owen Coderre, who's on the boys basketball team too.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Nice people all around.
Yeah.
But you also did another piece. We were talking before the show. I didn't realize this, but you did another piece for the Lancelot. And for our listeners, I think it's I'll put the website up again in the comment section. People should definitely check it out. The journalism class does an excellent job, and you should honor that excellent job by reading their articles. But you have an article in there. You said something about you have a relative who's doing what?
Yeah, so my cousin is a biostatistician at the University of Florida, and she also works for the World Health Organization. And she has been all over this pandemic pretty much from the very beginning of it. She actually worked way before this happened, she worked on Zika and Ebola. And so she has extensive knowledge in this field.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was that? So did you get a chance to interview her?
Yeah, I did. So I asked her about what her whole role is right now and what she does day to day with the whole pandemic and what she's been doing, because the World Health Organization has been so prominent in fighting this pandemic. And she does modeling for like predicting where the virus is going to go, how many people are going to get sick, how many people are recovering. And she basically relays that information to the different government systems and is like, lets them take it and make their plans on what the future kind of holds.
Wow, that sounds like a slightly stressful job in a whole bunch of different ways. How is she dealing with that?
She works from home a lot, but she definitely tries to like make time. She has 2 young children, so she tries to make time and go out and do stuff with them when she can. Her husband is actually also, he's a doctor, so it's kind of interesting the balance that they have, but she really tries to balance the whole thing out by spending time with her kids, doing her job, but also she's been in the PR area a lot more now because of how prominent the pandemic is. So she's done a lot of radio shows, a lot of interviews. She's done CNN, BBC. So she's kind of become famous.
Wow, that's really interesting. That's another great reason to check out the Lancelot website and read those articles. All right, as Connor said to Miss Woznicki, we've been asking all of our guests on same questions, just to get some sort of baseline here. What's a couple of things that you're grateful for that, I don't know, maybe you didn't realize you were grateful for before being stuck at home for, what has it been, 6 weeks now?
Yeah.
What's something that you're grateful for?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I took it for granted even before this happened, but I'm grateful for my family and like my pets and just their patience with all of us with this whole transition, because my parents are still working, thankfully, and we're all kind of trying to coexist in the same house and work the same kind of hours. So that's been really helpful. And then I'm really thankful for my teachers and how flexible they've been, because obviously they've had to transition, we've had to transition, but I feel like they've gone the extra mile for us as students. They have office hours on Fridays, but even I've had scholarship letters I needed and grades and quick email, and they're getting back to me. And I have teachers from when I was younger who are reaching out, asking how I am. I mean, my first grade teacher the other day sent me an email just to check in on me, and it was really cool.
Well, that's such a nice thing. Who is that? Who was that first grade teacher?
So her name is Mrs. Morenz. I went to school in New Hampshire in a little town. So that's, yeah, it's those small town connections.
That's awesome. That's such a nice thing.
Yeah,
all right.
It was really cool.
Yeah, that is really sweet. What about something that you're looking forward to doing, or some place you're looking forward to going, or someplace you're looking forward to eating when all of this is over? What's something that maybe you're craving or something?
I'm craving people. I want to see people. I want to be around people. I want to talk to people. I just love being around people. I love hearing what people's stories are. Even like, I just love seeing my friends. I love talking to my teachers, all varieties of topics. I just love being around people. So I miss the human connection a lot, just being able to go to a restaurant and sit down and talk to the wait staff or talk to whoever's eating with me. So even like, it's totally different in this virtual communication that we have. It's like you're there and you're talking to them, but you're not really there and you're not really sharing the same space and seeing the same things. So I definitely miss that.
Yeah, and you're not alone. We have a lot of guests that say the same thing. And, I wonder if on the other side of this, I wonder if we'll remember all that when the next time we're feeling grumpy with our classmates or coworkers, or, I wonder if, I hope on the other side of this, we sort of keep those feelings alive and say, I'm going to spend more time with people. I'm going to enjoy this interaction a little bit more.
I hope so. I hope we don't get caught up in the fact that we're going to go back to normal life and we're all going to have all these things to do and all these places to be, because I feel like we say we're going to not forget things, and then some time goes by and we suddenly forget them. And I think it's important that the lessons that we're learning right now be carried on in the future.
Yeah, and I think the weird thing is that I'm not certain that I really expected any lessons to come out of this. But the more I talk to people and the more this goes on, I think you're right. I think there's some lessons there.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely different from anything we've ever seen before. There's no one living now that has experienced maybe even the 1918 pandemic. So it's a new thing for everyone, and there's no guidebook to tell you how to go through it. So I think everyone's learning new things about themselves, new things about other people, and just how to live life in a completely different way. Yeah,
that's crazy. Anna, thank you so much for being on the show. What song did you give us? Oh, pardon me. What do we got for us?
I picked Neon Light by Blake Shelton because I'm a huge country fan and I'm from a small town, so it's kind of like that's me in a nutshell.
Is this going out to anybody? Is this dedicated to anybody?
Just probably my friends from New Hampshire, my family in New Hampshire that I haven't seen through this whole pandemic because we're not really supposed to be traveling or going across state lines. So of course I miss them.
All right. So here's Neon Light by Blake Shelton, going out to all the family and friends of Anna Schleck.
Ever since you left me, I've been riding around, cranking up a little country gold heartbreak. Cried and dried these tears, I don't know how much more missing you I can take. I prayed for a sign. Now there it is in the window, it's about time, damn time. There's a neon light at the end of the tunnel. It ain't all that bright, but even though it's subtle, it's got me feeling alright. Gonna make it a double. There's a neon light at the end of the tunnel. Take a shot of I don't care what you're doing now. Chase that one with a cold screw you. When that's done, I just might wash it down with a big picture of someone new. That blonde at the bar. See if she wants to try and unbreak my heart. There's a neon light at the end of the tunnel. It ain't all that bright, but even though it's subtle, it's got me feeling alright. Gonna make it a double. There's a neon light at the end of the tunnel. Well, when we were together, I thought life would suck forever, even though I knew better than the pain would never end. They say the night's darkest just before the dawn gets kissed by the daybreak. Got down on my knees and I prayed for a sign. Now there it is in the window. It's about time, damn time. There's a neon light at the end of the tunnel. It ain't all that bright, but even though it's subtle, it's got me feeling alright. Gonna make it a double. There's a neon light at the end of the tunnel.
they said it couldn't be done.
They pulled in just behind the bridge. He lays her down. He frowns. Gee, my life's a funny thing. Am I still too young? He kissed her then and there. She took his ring, took his babies. It took him minutes, took her nowhere. Heaven knows he'd have taken anything. All night. She was a young American. She was the young American. All night. But she was the young American. Standing right through the picture window, she finds a slinky vagabond. He calls as he passes a Ford Mustang. But heaven forbid she take anything. But the freak and his title for nothing. This is a step and cuts his hand. Showing nothing, it swoops like a song. She cries, where have all Papa's heroes gone? All night. She wants a young American. Young American. Young American. She wants the young American. All night. Well, she wants the young American. All the way from Washington. Her breadwinner begs off the bathroom floor. We live for just these 20 years. Do we have to die for the 50 more? And all night, he wants the young American. Young American, she does. American, he wants the young American. All right, but he wants the young American. President Nixon, do you remember the bills you have to pay, or even yesterday? Have you been on America? Just you and your idle civil sets about leather, everywhere, and not a miss left from the ghetto. Well, would you carry a visa? Just in case of depression. Sit on your hands on the bus of survivors, blushing at all the Afro-Sheeners. Ain't that close to love? Well, ain't that close to love? Well, it ain't that Barbie doll. Her heart's been broken just like you and all night. What the young American? Young American. Young American. You want the young American. All night. You want the young American. You ain't a purple. You ain't a horse. A bird's got a canyon. A lady got a Chrysler. Black's got the stacker. White's got a soul train. Mama's got cramps and look at your handshake. I heard the news today, oh boy. I got a sweet hand. You got the feet. Who can say no more? And there a woman I can suck on the jaw. And there a child I can help with that judging. And there a band that will write before they die. Ain't you proud that you struck our faces? Ain't there one dance song that can make me break down and cry? All night, I want the young American. Young American. The young American. Oh, I want the young American, young American, young American. I want with you, boy. I want with you, boy. You want what I want you.
right, that was David Bowie and Young Americans from the title of the album by the same name, issued in 1975. Connor, what do you think? Who do we have? We started off with Bruce Springsteen. We had, are you there, Connor?
I am here. Yep.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
So we got Bruce Springsteen. I thought I had you muted for a minute, sort of a passive aggressive thing. I don't want anybody hearing you. So we had that. We got some Isley Brothers. What else do we get from 75? We had Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. That's an awesome album. David Bowie. And he worked on this album with John Lennon. He
Really?
did, and in fact, one of the tracks on the album is Across the Universe with John Lennon doing backup vocals. And Luther Vandross was one of the backup singers on this track here, The Young Americans.
Really? I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's all sorts of, it's really fascinating. And I don't know whether when you were looking at the list of songs for 1975, if you notice that it's just like punk is just like got a knife's edge that's just starting. You know, if we did 1976, we would have to play like half the stuff would have to be punk because.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Iggy Pop is kind of bubbling right now. You know, he's been around for a little bit. That proto stuff's forming. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think Horses came out, Patti Smith group, but I didn't want to subject anybody to Gloria. I thought I want to keep my job, so I thought that would
that'd be painful for some people. I don't want to.
Yeah, we know we're not here for that. All right, so let's see. So are we going to do 1985 on Wednesday and 1995 on Friday? Is that our plan?
That sounds like a plan. I was looking at some albums from '85, and for sure, it's a really solid year, honestly. So let's do it.
All right, that sounds great. We want to thank our guests, Miss Alyson Woznicki. What did you think about her answers?
She's positive, man. She's got that positive mental attitude going. It's awesome. You know, a lot of people who I've talked to, not on this show, but just in general, a lot of people are really, you know, just hoping for something. I think like what Miss Woz is like really making the best of this moment. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to see. And also thank you, Woz, Miss Tessier, for working so hard for the senior class, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciated the honesty of her answers. Obviously, they are working hard, her and Miss Tessier. They can't give us definites, we know that, but it sounds like, you know, she really has the best interests of the senior class in mind. So I thought that was really positive. When we get more definite stuff, it'll end up on this show at some point or another. And it was great talking to Anna Schleck. She was wonderful. The Lancelot staff continues to be a source of great stuff. In fact, we have Owen Seltzer's coming up, I think, at the end of the week. Wednesday, we have Dr. Aaron Price is going to be on the show. Friday, we have Mr. Jim Sachs, principal from Clark Lane, and Owen Seltzer is going to be here as well. And I don't know, anything else we need to tell the people before we finish up?
Nothing, just, you know, thanks for to continue listening. Thank you for our guests again. And if you want, you know, to be on the show or put a suggestion in, please just hit that email and let us know.
All right. 1975 has a number of songs, but we could not go through the show without leaving you with one more song. I don't know if song seems almost whimsical title for what this is. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Have a great Monday. Thank you so much for being on the show. And here's where we end it.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy, 'cause I'm easy come, easy go. little high, little low. Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. To me. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. Too late, my time has come. Sent shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Figaro. Magnifico! I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from this monstrosity. Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? Bismillah, no, we will not let you go. Let him go! Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let him go! Bismillah, we will not let you go. Let me go! We'll not let you go. Let me go! We'll not let you go. Let me go! Oh, mamma mia, mamma mia. Mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for